Welcome back to another episode. Today we are going to start introducing the verbal command to our dogs. Now, if you've been following my channel, you've seen this in a few of the other ones, and it's something I talk about a lot. And it's known as pairing, or also known as overshadowing. This is the most common mistake that most people make when they start to give their dog the verbal command. So what they do is they say the verbal command at the exact same time they're given the physical cue. For example, they go sit or down. You may have done that yourself. Now, it's been scientifically proven that if you pair your physical with your verbal, the physical will override the verbal. Again, it's known as overshadowing. So if two things are presented to a dog at one time, whichever of those two is more relevant to the dog is going to be what they focus on, and they're going to completely ignore the other one. And our dogs notice physical movements way more or much easier than our verbals. So if you want your dog to know the verbal command, this is very important. The verbal command must come before the physical cue. So instead of saying sit as we lift, or down as we point, or heel, doesn't matter, we have to say that verbal before the physical. It has to be a predictable pattern. This is the same with our markers. Remember our markers, we say yes, then we reward. We say free, or whatever word you choose, then we give that cue. So with our commands, we say sit, then we lift our hands. Down, then we present the cue. If you are pairing it together, your dog's not going to learn. Now, I have come across people where they taught their dog the verbal command even though they were pairing. And you might wonder, well, how are they able to do that if science has proven that you have to say the verbal before the physical cue? It's simple. They think their dog already knows it on the verbal command, so they look at their dog and they go sit. The dog doesn't sit, and then they go sit, then the dog sits. So the dog was learning the verbal command because it actually preceded the physical cue, even though they didn't know they were doing it that way. So you want to be aware of this. It should be broken down into 4 parts: command, motivate, mark, reward, on a timeline. Command comes first, then the physical cue comes next, then the marker, or you can give your dog the primary within a second. I've talked about this as well. And then if you've used the marker, then you follow it up with the primary. So we're gonna be demonstrating with little Spock here. He just got back from the vet clinic and he doesn't like car rides, so he drooled a little bit, but he's feeling better now. So we're gonna start doing the commands, and I'm gonna have you focus on one thing at a time, and then I'm gonna let you know what to focus on after we do each part. So it's gonna be broken down in a way that should be pretty easy to follow. So what I want you to pay attention is notice how I say the command, then I do the cue. I just want you to pay attention to that. And I'm gonna go through a few commands with Spock here. Now, the physical cue that I'm going to be using is either going to be luring, or I might be using the leash pressure cue as well. I like to go back and forth between the two. And we're gonna do multiple different commands to make it as interesting as possible. So we're gonna get started right now. Good boy. So we give him a treat, get him started. Now notice I'm walking backwards. He's trying to get the food. I say sit, then I lift. Free, then I move. Sit, then I lift, and I drop the piece. Free, then I move. Good boy. Even from right here, I can give him the climb command. So I go climb, then the cue. Now, what helps a lot of people is to say what you're doing when you do it. So what I mean by that is say the command and then say what you're doing. So we can use the word now, for example. So I can go down, now. Free, reward. Come now. Free, reward. Spin now. Free, reward. Climb now. Free, reward. Off now. Free, reward. Now pay attention to when I'm saying the marker. I say the marker the moment he completes the behavior. I'm trying to pinpoint the completion of the behavior. Down, now. Free, reward. Off, now. Free, reward. I can use the leash pressure as well. Now remember, when we're using the leash, it's not really pressure. It's more like a leash cue. We're using the leash to help guide our dog into the position. So for example, if I'm using my foot, I'm not stepping on the leash and forcing him into the down position. I'm using it as a cue. So sit, now. Free, reward. Also right there, I said free, and That's the terminal marker. He's conditioned to it, so he knows that free means release and reward. When we're first teaching the terminal marker free, we move back, encouraging the dog to come get it so they understand that concept. But once your dog's conditioned to it, you can do something like this. Down, cue, free, and just hand it to him because he knows it means release and reward. So if he wants to get up after he gets the treat, he can do that. Climb, then the cue. And I did not mark that one, that's okay. Sit, then the cue. Notice the leash didn't get tight when I used the cue because it's a cue. Oops, let's get that back to you, big guy. Sit, cue, free, reward. Down, then the cue. Oh, free. I didn't have to step on it. It's not force. The more we can communicate with our dog, the more techniques we have to communicate with our dog, the faster they're going to learn and the stronger the relationship is going to be. You don't want to ignore a technique as valuable as leash pressure simply because you think it's force when it's not. If you notice, I'm not using force to get him to do these things. It's just a cue. Sometimes I don't even have to place my foot on the leash because the dog has learned the process of going with that pressure. So we're going to do a couple more. And this is another big question I'm asked is, sit. When I'm training my dog, free. When I'm training my dog, am I just doing sit and down over and over again? No, because that would be kind of boring. We want to make it fun. So we want to do as many different things as possible. When I'm doing a session with a dog, I'm doing everything. I'm trying to make it fun. So we're going to incorporate these cones as well. It's in one of my other videos, and that's the around command, which helps with certain sports, but it's also fun just to work with the dog to give them more awareness of their own body. So now I'm not going to say now anymore, but when you're first starting, say now after you say the command will help you with your timing. Because again, your mind and your body want to move at the exact same time. He's trying to offer up behaviors. I mean, think about it. However old you are, your entire life you've been pairing your physical with your verbal, and now I'm telling you not to do something you've been practicing your entire life. For example, when you go to talk to your friends, let's say you're asking them to go to the movies, you go, hey guys, you want to go to the movies? Nobody does this. Hey guys, you want to go to the movies? It's not how we operate. So you have to go against what you've been practicing your whole life. So we're going to do a couple more. Come, then the cue. Free, then the reward. Around, then the cue. Free. Good. And sometimes I just like to have them go around these. Mark and reward. Good boy. Very nice. Good job. Backwards follow exercise, I might throw that in, giving them some rewards. Center, we're gonna throw the center command in, boom. And now let's walk and have them enjoy that center position. See if we can get a little bit of that prancing. By holding the food slightly higher, sometimes you can get that prance. Now we can throw in a down, then the cue, free, reward, good. Spin, cue, free, reward. Heel, cue. Whoa, I messed up. Come on, buddy. We're this way. Now I got him in heel position. I can give him lots of rewards for maintaining that. Sit, then the cue. Down, cue, free, reward. All done, buddy. And when we finish a session, sometimes it's nice to let them know that you're done. And if you do it like this, if you do it correctly, you're going to find that your dog is going to start beating you into the positions before you give that physical cue. So you'll be standing there, and you got your dog motivated, ready to learn, and you say down, and your dog goes down before you present the physical cue. Boom, now you know you have it on verbal. But if you don't do it this way, if you go sit, down, if you do that, your dog will never learn the verbal command, and you will always have to use the physical cue. So one of the things I like to do to test how good the dog knows the verbal command is I will place him on a climb platform, climb, and then he's not at this point, but I would stand looking away and I give the dog the commands. And I want to see if the dog can perform the commands without me actually presenting a physical cue. And I'm going to give you a quick little demonstration with my dog Ari. Down, stand, sit, spin, center, free, yay!